On the day I left the Liu family, Liu Yun leaned by the door, watching me pack my luggage. With a smirk, he said, "What? Realized that having a child didn't force me to marry you, so now you think he's useless and don't even plan to take him with you?" Before I could speak, Lu Xingyan, who had been eavesdropping at the door for a long time, walked in and carefully poured the money from his piggy bank into my hand. "Mom, take good care of yourself, and also, can you promise me that you'll never come back?" Aunt Qianqian said that only if you leave completely will she be willing to come and be Xingyan's mom. After Lu Xingyan said these words, his dark, moist eyes blinked at me, his anticipation almost overflowing. Lu Yun lowered his voice, a warning in it. "Lu Xingyan, did school teach you to talk to your mother like that?" Lu Xingyan lowered his head, pouting, "But last time Aunt Qianqian asked Dad if he liked Mom, and you also said you didn't. Then Xingyan doesn't like her very much either, so if Mom wants to leave, just let her go." I had long stopped being saddened by his words. A week ago, on his 6th birthday, he insisted on celebrating it with Lu Yun and Song Qian. It was as if I suddenly stopped worrying about gains and losses, without a trace of reluctance, even passing by that restaurant in the evening. When I heard him introduce Song Qian to the violinist as his mother, my heart remained calm and undisturbed. Because I was packing my luggage, I was squatting down, my eyes level with little Lu Xingyan. I accepted his money and nodded gently. "Okay. I promise you, I will no longer call myself mother," I said quietly. "I won't come back to this house again, and I am no longer your mother. Xingyan, you are free." He seemed not to expect me to agree so easily. He stared at me for 2 seconds, then broke into a smile. "Yeah, from now on, Annie Qian will be my mom." As he ran out, he said he was going to call Song Qian with the good news. I packed the last piece of clothing, closed the suitcase, and stood up. Lu Yun had been silent all along, but as I brushed past him, he grabbed my arm. His eyes were half closed, unreadable. "Tang Jin, disliking doesn't mean hating. These past few years, I've gotten used to you. What's this about leaving? What are you really making a fuss over?" By the end, his voice carried a faint edge of irritation. I wanted to say something, but it felt unnecessary and contrived, so I simply pulled my arm free and said, "Take care of Xingyan." Then I dragged my suitcase out of the Liu family's house. Leaving the villa district required a long walk, and the weather wasn't great either. The cold wind whipped fallen leaves from the roadside, brushing against me, as if determined to make me look miserable. Yet I never once looked back. I had already rented an apartment in advance and found a job. Based on my previous major, I applied to teach at a children's art class in a small creative institution. On my first day at work, I walked into the office. I saw several female teachers crouching around a little girl. "Jojo, does your little uncle like desserts? And what type of girls does he prefer? Oh, and Jojo, sweetie, will he pick you up tonight?" The girl's expression was blank. "Teacher, you called me over. Didn't you say it was about my art style?" The teachers exchanged awkward glances. "Since there's nothing else, I'll head back to class." The girl turned around, saw me, and gave a faint greeting. "Hello, teacher." Then she walked away, without looking aside. The few teachers were very friendly to me, the new arrival. After introducing the work procedures, they started talking about the girl from earlier. "You don't know this, but the little girl's uncle is He Qingzhou. He's tied with Lu Yun as the city's most eligible bachelors. Oh wait, not anymore. I heard Lu Yun is already with his childhood sweetheart Song Qian, who just returned from abroad. Now only He Qingzhou is left." Hearing Lu Yun's name again, I felt calm, as if I didn't know him. "But He Qingzhou," he sighed silently. "He and Lu Yun are rivals. He used to really look down on me. Every time we met, he never failed to taunt me. 'How pathetic,' he'd say. 'Lu Yun and Song Qian's kiss is all over the trending list. And you don't even dare to say a word. What did you get by sticking with Lu Yun? Status? A title? Tang Jin, damn it, can't you see anyone else? You'd better stay away from that girl called Jojo. If He Qingzhou finds out I'm here, he might use his connections to get the organization to fire me.'" Lu Yun called as I was squeezing onto the subway after work. "Hey." The noise around me made him pause for a moment. Then he asked, "Where are you?" "On the subway." He let out a barely audible laugh. "Crowded subway, Tang Jin, this is what you get for bringing it on yourself." I held the handrail and simply asked, "Is there something you need from me?" Even through the distorted signal, the man's footsteps remained unhurried, just like himself. I could even imagine the way he walked from his desk to the floor-to-ceiling window. Lu Xingyan has a fever, he said. Give me the address, I'll come pick you up. No need. I lowered my eyes. The Lu family will take care of him. He doesn't need me. Lu Yun's voice turned slightly deep. Are you really going to give up on him? Tang Jin. He seemed to find it absurd. Just because he said he likes Song Qian better? Lu Yun never seemed to understand my feelings for Lu Xingyan. Even though I had explained countless times that I had taken the morning after pill after that night's accident, he still didn't believe me. Because I had liked him for years, he was convinced I had deliberately gotten pregnant by Lu Xingyan to force marriage. In his eyes, my feelings for Lu Xingyan weren't deep. I was just using him as a tool or leverage. He didn't know that out of fear Lu Xingyan would grow to like Song Qian more. I went through countless days and nights of breakdowns and insecurity. The subway reached the transfer station, and the car emptied out by more than half. It wasn't Lu Yun. I found a seat and sat down, my aching legs finally getting some relief. I said softly, because he truly prefers Song Qian. I didn't want to force myself anymore, to exhaust myself trying to please him. Lu Yun seemed about to say something else, but the next second, Lu Xingyan's voice came through the receiver, confirming my words. Daddy, Xingyan's fever is gone. Can I go play with Annie Qian tomorrow? Lu Yun's throat bobbed. Tang Jin, listen to me. I hung up the phone and got off at the next stop. I pushed that call out of my mind. Lu Xingyan paused when he heard his mother's name, no longer insisting on Song Qian. Instead, he tugged at Lu Yun's pant leg and asked, Daddy, was that Mommy on the phone? Lu Yun nodded slightly. Oh, did you tell Mommy I was sick? She's coming back to see me. Lu Yun met those cute, round eyes and finally hummed in agreement. Lu Xingyan had long expected that Tang Jin would worry about him and couldn't help but come home. Then Xingyan will put on a mask, so I don't infect Mommy. We can go visit Aunt Qian another time. After not seeing her for a week, he didn't seem as opposed to seeing his mother anymore. Lu Yun pressed his lips tightly. Mom is working overtime. I didn't let her come back. Lu Xingyan still had a fever patch on his forehead and blinked at the words. Well, we can go find Aunt Qian first then. He didn't seem disappointed. After all, his mom would definitely come back to see him. Ever since he was little, whenever he was sick, his mom was always the most worried. He was just a bit surprised since before, even if his mom was abroad, she would fly back overnight when she heard he was sick. After a week of work, I'd basically adjusted, even though He Qingzhou hadn't come by even once. Just in case, whenever parents came to pick up their kids at the institution's entrance, I'd rather hide in the office grading paintings. Only once did Jojo ask for leave and not come. I went out with my colleague to see the students off. Usually, I try my best to treat everyone equally, but she still noticed the difference. That day, Jojo was clearly in low spirits. During a break in the hallway, she rested her little chin on her hands and gazed out the window. A few boys were chasing and playing around and accidentally knocked her over. Without even apologizing, she ran off. I immediately went over and crouched in front of her. How is it, Jojo? Are you hurt? Let the teacher see. The girl covered her knees, not letting me look. She turned her head away and said, Don't trouble yourself. I'll find another teacher to borrow a band-aid. I was stunned for a moment, then said gently, Teacher Tang has some too. I don't want yours. Her round head showed a hint of stubbornness. I know you don't like me. I was taken aback. Teacher doesn't dislike you. You're obedient and polite, and you have a talent for drawing. How could the teacher not like you? Jojo shot a quick glance at me, then turned away and hummed softly. The other day, Teacher Lee asked you to walk me home after school. When you found out it was me, you didn't want to. And a few days ago, at noon, I didn't want to eat with those teachers. I took my bowl and sat next to you, but you finished eating in a flash and ran off. After saying that, she seemed to recall the scene again. Her cheeks puffed up with anger. She turned back to accuse me. No one has ever hated me this much. If you don't like me, then I won't like you either. I felt a bit awkward. That day at lunch in the cafeteria, I thought I had been pretty discreet, but when Jojo sat down across from me with her bowl, she didn't even look at me, just mumbled. They're too noisy, always asking about my little uncle. I shifted my tray to make room for her. But less than half a minute later, Jojo's smartwatch rang. It was He Qingzhou. I felt a pang of guilt instinctively, wolfed down the rest of my rice, and got up to bolt. I couldn't explain it, so I had to look her in the eye and say slowly, "Teacher was wrong. From now on, I'll definitely wait for you to eat together. And I'll walk you home after school too. But I really do like you, Zhou." The girl turned her face halfway, her cheeks plump like in crayon Shinchan. "Really?" Princess Zhou asked haughtily. "Really, I promised." She held out both hands and said sternly, "Then a hug." Zhou's leg hurt. The scrape on her knee was visible. I picked her up, first took her to the office to disinfect and apply medicine, then returned to the classroom and made the boy who had knocked her over apologize. Zhou blinked at me and pressed her lips into a tiny smile, a signal that she was willing to make peace with me. During lunch break, I reviewed Zhou's files again, and my eyes suddenly froze on her birth date. Today is her birthday. It's likely related to why she's been quiet all day. I recalled the little rabbit pattern on her art brush bag and the rabbit keychain on her backpack. Before school ended, I quickly knitted a mini lop-eared rabbit doll with a dress similar to what Zhou was wearing today. She finished her in-class assignment 10 minutes earlier than the other students. I called her out and gave her the doll. "Happy birthday, Zhou." She paused for 2 seconds. "Is this rabbit me?" I smiled and nodded. "As cute as you." "Thank you, Teacher Tang. I love it." The girl accepted it politely, her expression calm. "You're welcome. Go back to class." She took 2 steps, then turned back. "Bend down," she gestured. I did as she said. "What's up? Did you have something else to tell me?" The next second, her soft, warm lips pressed against my cheek. This was the first gift Zhou received today, and her favorite. She clung to me, her eyes sparkling. "Teacher Tang, do you think my little uncle is handsome? I can give you his phone number. Just think of it as a thank you for the bunny." The warmth that had just risen in my heart suddenly froze. "No, thanks." This was after I learned that He Qingzhou wasn't the one picking me up tonight. I had agreed to walk Zhou home from school, but when I saw the man leaning against the Maybach at the institution's entrance, I was stunned. "Little uncle? Why are you picking me up today?" The man slowly moved his gaze from my face to glance at Zhou. "Taking you to your birthday, kid." "Yay!" The girl bounced up and down. I steeled myself and spoke. "Hello, Zhou's parent. This is unexpected." He interrupted me with a smile. Lu Yun would actually mistreat his own woman and make her go to work. To avoid any misunderstanding if he met Lu Yun later and mentioned me, I took the initiative to explain. "I've already left the Lu family. My going to work has nothing to do with Mr. Lu either." He Qingzhou's gaze froze slightly. "Because of Song Qian? Did they bully you?" I didn't want to discuss this with He Qingzhou. Pretending not to hear, I said, If there are no more questions about Zhou, I'll head back to the office." Zhou waved her little hand innocently and said, "Goodbye, teacher." I waved back. "Goodbye," I replied, turning to leave, but I couldn't shake the feeling of an intense gaze on my back. I got off work 20 minutes later. When I came out of the center, that Maybach was still parked at the entrance. The window rolled down, and He Qingzhou rested his hand on the steering wheel, tilting his head and saying indifferently, "The little girl insisted that you must celebrate her birthday with her." I looked at Zhou in the back seat. She blinked and tilted her head, asking, "Uncle, didn't you say?" He Qingzhou clicked his tongue softly, cutting her off. "No parking here. Get in first." Afraid the car would get a ticket because of my hesitation, I hurriedly got in. But when I saw He Qingzhou's slightly curled lips in the rearview mirror, I realized belatedly that the car had been parked here for a long time. If it was going to get a ticket, it would have already. I wanted to find an opportunity to ask He Qingzhou to drop me off at a random intersection, but Zhou wrapped her arms around mine and nuzzled against me. "This year, it won't just be me and Uncle celebrating my birthday anymore." The words caught in my throat, and I couldn't bring myself to say them. Throughout the entire meal, Zhou kept smiling with her eyes curved like crescent moons, a complete contrast to her mood in the morning. Maybe she was just too excited and drained her energy. On the way home, she fell asleep leaning against me. The man glanced at me in the rearview mirror and said quietly, "Her parents are always abroad on business, so they're not close to her. They don't want to waste time coming back to see her, and even forgot it was her birthday today." He Qingzhou rarely dropped his usual flippant demeanor. "Tang Jin, thank you for giving her a present and spending her birthday with her." The girl was fast asleep, letting out little snoring sounds. I reached out and gently brushed her cheek, saying softly, "I like Jojo, and I really enjoy playing with her too." The car drove smoothly, and in the latter half of the journey, the cabin was so quiet that we could hear the tires rolling over the road. I stared blankly out the window at the neon lights flashing by. Suddenly, I felt life was so dramatic. Lu Xingyan, whom I had loved with all my heart for 6 years, wouldn't even let me spend a birthday with him. Yet this little girl, whom I'd known for only a month, treasured the gift I gave her and said it was her favorite. The car slowed down as my thoughts gradually returned. He Qingzhou stopped at the entrance of my building. I gently set Jojo down, said goodbye, and got out of the car. He Qingzhou followed and got out too. He called out to me from behind, "Tang Jin." I turned around. "Is there something else?" His dark eyes were deep and unreadable. "Stop liking Lu Yun. He's not good to you." I stood there dumbfounded. I never expected him to say that. When I snapped back to reality, the car had already driven off, and all I could see were its taillights. A beat later, I realized that He Qingzhou didn't hate me as much anymore. After that, He Qingzhou came to pick up the kids from school almost every day. When the other teachers found out, they all vied for the task of escorting the students out. So I stayed in the office grading drawings. One day after work, that familiar Maybach appeared at the gate again. I looked into the car through the window. Jojo wasn't there. He must have dropped her off at home and come back. He got out, slammed the car door, pressed his lips together, and stared at me gloomily. "Do you hate me that much, that you don't want to see me?" I'm not sure if it was my imagination, but in front of me, nearly 1.9 meters, the 1.87-meter tall man was acting wronged. I slowly said, "Ah. These past few days, isn't it because I've been picking up Jojo that you didn't want to come out?" I shook my head and explained the whole story. The task of seeing students off after school hadn't been assigned to me these past few days. He Qingzhou snorted, as if to say who'd believe that. But soon he said coldly, "I've been waiting for you for so long. I haven't eaten anything, I'm starving." I looked at him blankly. "Why are you waiting for me?" "None of your business," he suddenly bristled. "I want to wait." I was stumped by his self-righteous tone and momentarily thought it was my fault. I hesitated and asked, "Then, how about I treat you to a meal?" He Qingzhou smoothly turned and opened the passenger door for me. "Get in. The reservation is half an hour before the meal time, so it'll be just right if we go now." The car stopped at the restaurant entrance. I was about to open the door. Lu Xingyan appeared in my sight. Flanking him were Lu Yun and Song Qian. Lu Xingyan was talking to a little girl about his age. The girl asked Lu Xingyan, "Is this your mom?" "Wow, she looks as beautiful as a celebrity." Lu Xingyan's lips trembled, as if he hadn't figured out what to say. The girl tilted her head in confusion. "But I remember that once, the one who picked you up from school looked like a plain old auntie. So, which one is your real mom?" So this is the reason Lu Xingyan never let me pick him up from school. At the Lu residence, I don't like to go out much, so I pay even less attention to dressing up. I usually wear casual home clothes, quite simple. It was just because the driver took leave. I picked him up once, and he held a grudge against me for a long time after. Hearing this, Lu Xingyan suddenly grabbed Song Qian's hand. Of course, this is my mom. Last time, that was our housekeeper auntie." As he finished speaking, his voice grew softer and softer. Song Qian accepted the address by default, crouched down, and greeted the girl with a smile. Lu Yun frowned slightly, as if he wanted to say something, but he remained silent. A soft laugh sounded in my ear. He Qingzhou squinted. "Tang Jin, you raised an ungrateful little wretch." This scene was somewhat expected, but seeing it with my own eyes, I still couldn't stay calm. I withdrew my gaze and softly asked him, "Shall we go eat somewhere else?" "All right, but wait a moment." He Qingzhou unfastened his seatbelt and got out of the car. When he walked up to Lu Yun and the others, the little girl from earlier had already left. "What a coincidence, President Lu. Bringing your girlfriend and son out for a meal." Lu Yun's expression was cold. "None of your business, Mr. He." He Qingzhou lounged casually, unbothered by his words. "Don't be so tense, President Lu. I just wanted to congratulate you and Miss Song on your upcoming good news." He smiled. "Oh, and I heard Tang Jin has completely cut ties with you. That's good. Not only are you and your son free, but so is she. She's only 27, still young. In the future, she'll marry someone more suitable for her, maybe even have a cuter child. She'll probably be happier than she was with you. Lu Xingyan heard my name and looked up at him. Lu Yan raised his chin slightly, his eyes sharp with scrutiny. He Qingzhou. What exactly are you trying to say? The atmosphere grew tense, but He Qingzhou seemed oblivious. Looking down at Lu Xingyan from his height, he said, "Hey, kid. Don't think only you've abandoned your mom. She's also abandoned you. Remember, she will never love you again." He Qingzhou sneered and curled his lip, then left and returned to the car. Through the window, I saw Lu Xingyan suddenly let go of Song Qian's hand. Looking confused, half understanding, He Qingzhou and I ended up eating wonton soup at the shop downstairs from my place. I held my spoon and said, "Thanks for today. Don't give me empty words, be practical." My mind flashed through a series of things I couldn't afford: gold, diamonds, sports cars, mansions. I asked without confidence, "What do you want?" He tilted his chin at me. "I'm not full yet. Scoop me a few of your wontons." So easily satisfied. I scooped 3 plump wontons into his bowl, then generously added, "If it's not enough, you can order another bowl." "It's enough." The shop's glass door was pushed open and closed by customers coming and going, letting in wisps of spring night wind, but it was softened by the warmth of the place, no longer so chilly. By the end of winter break, I had unconsciously shared several meals with Yi Qingzhou, and occasionally Zhou joined us too. The night before Zhou's school started, Yi Qingzhou called me. The school suddenly announced there's a parent-teacher meeting tomorrow. But I'm at a branch office in another city now, dealing with an emergency, and I simply can't get away. Can you go to the school for me tomorrow? Zhou's elementary school is the same one Lu Xingyan attends. I couldn't help but hesitate. On the other end of the line, I faintly heard an assistant urging him to attend a meeting. I took a deep breath and agreed. It probably won't be that coincidental. Maybe he's in the same class as Lu Xingyan? Before sleep, I inexplicably remembered the conversation between Lu Xingyan and the little girl at the restaurant entrance that day. I opened the wardrobe and let my fingertips brush over each piece of clothing. Then they stopped on a cool-toned white coat. I put away the heavy puffer jacket I had planned to wear the next day. The parent-teacher conference was scheduled before school ended in the afternoon. In the afternoon, I put on a pair of thin high heels I hadn't worn in a while and booked a styling salon for hair and makeup. 2 hours later, I arrived at the school gate. With 15 minutes left until the parent-teacher conference started, I called Zhou. "I'm here. Which class are you in?" Teacher. "I'll come out to get you. Wait for me." Several students were standing at the school gate, all presumably waiting for their parents. As my gaze swept to a corner, I saw Lu Xingyan. He happened to see me at the same time. Furrowing his little brows, he ran up to her. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "I told Dad that Aunt Qian would handle my parent-teacher meeting today. I already told my classmates my mom is a dancer and only Aunt Qian knows how to dance." He waved both hands outward, annoyed. "Go back now, Mom. Don't let my classmates see you." "Teacher Tang." Zhou waved at me from not far away. I looked up. "Coming." Lu Xingyan glanced at Zhou, then at me, his expression turning puzzled. "Mom, you?" I said, "I came to attend her parent-teacher meeting." Lu Xingyan froze. After a moment's thought, I decided there was no need for further explanation. Silently, I walked past him toward Zhou. "Zhou, which class are you in?" "Class 1. My smile barely held. Same class as Lu Xingyan, that meant I'd still have to see Song Qian. Before entering the classroom, Zhou and I coordinated our story. I would claim to be her aunt. I arrived quite early. There were only a few parents in the classroom. Several kids crowded around. "Wow, Zhou, your aunt is so pretty. And she even smells like sweet grape juice." I secretly breathed a sigh of relief, glad I hadn't let Zhou down. She didn't look satisfied, but instead sighed. She murmured, "Ah, Teacher Tang, you're so beautiful. My uncle is even more unworthy of you." No, wait, it seemed she had misunderstood something. Just as I was about to explain, I caught sight of Lu Xingyan walking in alone from the corner of my eye. He quietly looked at me, then hung his head and returned to his seat. The boy's chubby little hands were stacked on the desk, his head resting sideways on his arms, a sign of his low mood. As the parent-teacher meeting began, The class teacher stood at the podium and asked Lu Xingyan, "Xingyan, have your parents arrived?" He stood up. His small body exuded a sense of loneliness. He instinctively turned to look at me, but just then Jojo leaned into my arms. She showed me her exam results from last semester. Distracted, I softly praised her. "Jojo, you're the best at everything." When I looked up again, Lu Xingyan had already turned back, head down, not answering the teacher, his fair fingers lightly picking at the edge of the desk. The class teacher sighed helplessly. "I'll call your parents." Neither Lu Yun nor Song Qian had shown up throughout the entire process. Lu Xingyan remained quietly bent over her notebook, drawing, as if isolated from everything else. After the parent-teacher meeting ended, I helped Jojo pack up her things. As we walked toward the school gate, I received a call from He Qingzhou. "I'm at the school gate. Are you free, Teacher Tang? Let me treat you to dinner, as thanks for your help." I asked, "Are the company matters already handled?" He lazily murmured an acknowledgement. "Came straight here after getting off the highway." His smile carried a faint, barely noticeable fatigue. When Jojo came out and saw He Qingzhou, she dashed over and hugged his leg. "Little uncle." The man froze for a moment when he saw me. He cleared his throat, his voice light. "Pretty nice." I stared at his reddened ears and took a step closer to him. He Qingzhou looked a bit uncomfortable. What are you doing? "Your ears are really red. And so is your face a little," I observed. "Are you sick from overwork? If you're not feeling well, we can skip dinner today." He Qingzhou stared at me steadily for 2 seconds, and his ears visibly faded from red to normal. He criticized me with an emotionless tone. "Tang, you blockhead. You talk too much. Get in the car." I was about to sit inside. A familiar, slightly choked voice came from behind me. "Dad, is Mom really giving up on Xingyan?" I turned around. Lu Yun stood in the cold wind. He stared at me indifferently. Beside him was Lu Xingyan with red-rimmed eyes. Lu Yun's gaze swept over the three of us. He nodded. "You're going to be a stepmother to someone else, Tang Jin? Quite an achievement." Jojo extended a finger and shook it. "She's not my stepmom, but she might be my aunt." I turned to look at He Qingzhou in confusion. He was leaning lazily against the car, looking a bit roguish. "It wasn't me who said that. Why are you looking at me?"
Mom."
Lu Xingyan called out timidly. The light-hearted atmosphere that had just risen vanished. He looked at me pleadingly. "Xingyan is sick, his throat hurts." Tears clung to his long eyelashes, so adorable it made my heart soften. I said softly, "Dad will take good care of you." Then I paused and added, "And Aunt Qianqian. But I want Mom too." He let go of Lu Yun's hand. He trotted over to me and held one of my fingers in a coaxing manner. Seeing that I didn't reject him, he reached out as if to hug me. "Mom." Feel Xingyan's forehead. I didn't give in. I stepped back, creating distance. Lu Xingyan's arm hung in midair. "Xingyan, on the day I left, we agreed. From now on, I'm no longer your mother." He Qingzhou casually studied his expression and laughed. "Kid, that day you said your mother was the nanny. She heard you." The boy's face turned pale. The school gate was bustling with people, filled with laughter. Most parents were celebrating the start of the school year or planning their children's futures. Only Lu Xingyan and I stood there, pitifully speechless. When I got home that evening, I received a call from Lu Yun. "You're with He Qingzhou now. If you don't clear up the misunderstanding, it could cause trouble for He Qingzhou too." "No," I said, "but it's none of your business." After a long silence, the voice on the other end suddenly said, "Song Qian and I were never together. She just returned from abroad not long ago. She approached me only to borrow my connections and resources. That photo that trended was an optical illusion. We didn't kiss." I had been with Lu Yun for nearly 6 years. As Lu Xingyan grew up, the relationship between Lu Yun and me gradually thawed. He once drove 500 kilometers through a torrential rain just to come back and celebrate my birthday with me, and he never stopped the people at the company from calling me madam. But after Song Qian returned, they started seeing each other more and more often, and all that was left between us was suspicion. Fights and cold wars went in circles. The day the photo of him kissing Song Qian went viral, I asked him for an explanation. But Lu Yun just curled his lips and retorted, "What are we to each other? Why do I need to explain to you? You seem to be overstepping." So after that, no matter how far he went with Song Qian, I never asked again. Now suddenly, he wants to clear things up. I just feel confused. I said, "What's going on between you and Song Qian has nothing to do with me. You don't need to tell me." Luyan seemed to sense that there wasn't a trace of anger in my tone. His voice turned hoarse. "Tang Jin, come back. Let's get married, okay?" He sounded like he was mocking himself. "I fell in love with you a long time ago. I just never wanted to admit it." Two scenes of regret played out on the same day. I didn't know whether to remark that Lu Yun and Lu Xingyan were so alike in this regard. I couldn't even muster the emotion to be surprised. Tapping my temple with a headache, I said, "Lu Yun, why didn't you first ask me if I still like you, or if I'm still willing to marry you?" Lu Yun was stunned. I told him frankly, "Whether it's you or Lu Xingyan, I don't love either of you anymore." As soon as I said that, a rustling sound came from the other end of the line. Lu Yun's voice sounded a bit tense. "Xingyan, how long have you been listening at the door?" I guessed that Lu Xingyan must have overheard the phone call that day. I didn't see him for days in a row. Just when I thought we'd never cross paths again, Lu Yun brought Lu Xingyan to the institute to sign up for painting lessons. The institute's director pushed Lu Xingyan's painting in front of me, a look of amazement on his face. "Very talented, Tang Jin. You should teach him well. At the end of the year, we can send him to a competition to try." I looked at his painting and said nothing. I had once asked Lu Xingyan if he was interested in painting, but he said it was too boring, not as fun as watching Song Qian dance. "Aunt Qian can lift her leg that high. Mom, can you?" I awkwardly said I couldn't. He was disappointed, shaking my head as I walked away. "Mom, oh, do you think Dad didn't marry you because you weren't good enough for him?" The director handed Lu Xingyan over to me, telling me to take him to the classroom. In the hallway, he gently tugged at my sleeve. I turned back to meet his anxious, cautious smile. "Dad said my talent in painting is inherited from Mom." I corrected him. "Xingyan, you can't call me Mom." The boy's smile slowly faded, his fingers nervously picking at the seam of his pants. "Xingyan will be good and obedient from now on. I'll study painting seriously too. I won't bother you even during breaks. But can I still not call you Mom?" His voice was soft, trembling. "Then does that mean I won't have a mom anymore?" His eyes were red, but as if afraid I'd get annoyed, he held back his tears. I paused, crouched down, and patiently explained to him, "No. I mean, you can't call me Mom during class. You have to call me teacher just like the other kids." He sniffled, nodded firmly. Xingyan remembers. Lu Xingyan was indeed very talented. In class, the homework he drew on the spot often made me stop beside him involuntarily, taking a few more looks. But perhaps it was because I could never treat him the same way I treated ordinary students. Without even realizing it myself, I had rarely praised him. One time during class, a boy threw his brush into the water bucket and raised his hand. "Teacher, come look, I'm done." After I gave a small correction, I praised him. "You've really improved a lot, Xiaohong. I think you can score even higher next time." He puffed out his chest and gave a firm Zhou, and the other students raised their hands one after another. As I commented and provided emotional support, I walked over to Lu Xingyan. He was holding his brush and looked up to call me. "I am done too." I nodded, meeting his eyes that couldn't hide their anticipation, and said warmly, "Well done, Xingyan. You're improving quickly. Really talented." His eyes sparkled with tiny glimmers. Teacher, I'll work even harder." The boy had faint dark circles under his eyes, and his usually tender hands had worn skin from practice. After a moment's thought, I said tactfully, "Don't rush too much." His eyes curved. "It's okay. I love painting." He refocused on his artwork. I watched him quietly, feeling that everything was out of place. If only the current Lu Xingyan loved the person I used to be, I wouldn't have spent so many days and nights in collapse, pain, and even jealousy that Song Qian was liked by him, while the me now. If I were facing the cold Lu Xingyan from before, things wouldn't have become so complicated and tangled. Luyan picks up Lu Xingyan from school every week. He would chat with me for a long time, but always about Lu Xingyan's painting issues. I couldn't avoid answering, but He Qingzhou became increasingly resentful. In the evening, under the pretext of celebrating Zhou's math quiz score of 93, he took me and Zhou to eat at a newly opened restaurant. He Qingzhou's steak knife stabbed at the steak, his face as grim as water. That Lu's stock will definitely fall tomorrow. That Lu's stock will definitely fall tomorrow. The steak was already mangled. I mourned for it for a second, then asked cautiously, "Can I ask why you dislike Lu Yun so much?" Zhou, with a wooden face, sighed in a mature manner. "Because Uncle likes you, Teacher Tang." The air froze at that moment. My mind suddenly went blank. He Qingzhou threw down the knife with a clatter and demanded of Zhou, "What nonsense are you talking about, you little brat?" I saw his neck rapidly turning red, spreading to his ears. Not sure if it was from embarrassment, I stammered to smooth things over. "It's okay, I can pretend I didn't hear that." In despair, I realized I was just as nervous. My first instinct was to flee. I stood up. "I'm done eating. I'll head home first." I quickly walked out of the dining room. He Qingzhou caught up from behind and blocked my way. "Tang Jin, you can't pretend you didn't hear that." His ears growing redder, his voice clearer in the evening breeze, he said, "I really do like you. I liked you even when you were with Lu Yun," his tone tinged with emotion. "Even though you were lovesick back then and drove me half to death with anger, I still inexplicably fell for you." I didn't know what to say. I was stunned, utterly frozen, staring at his shoulders. Thanks for liking me. I never expected. I always thought you hated me." He Qingzhou crossed his arms as usual. "Yeah, that's normal. You're a bit slow on the uptake. I told you before to check out other people too. You said, okay, very seriously, and I thought you understood what I meant." He brought up old grievances with a scoff. "That night, I waited for your call all night. Even the flowers I ordered to bring when I saw you the next day were ready. In the end, nothing happened. I remember that time." After He Qingzhou finished telling me to look at someone else, he fiddled with his tie, lifted his chin like a handsome rooster. "So, he meant for me to look at him. So hard to understand. Why didn't he just say it outright?" He Qingzhou cleared his throat. Pulling me back from my memories, he said with resignation, "Even though I already know the outcome, I'll still ask as usual. Tang Jin, wanna date me?" Before my thoughts could return to normal track, I subconsciously refused. "Sorry, I'm not considering these things for now." He Qingzhou said calmly, "Oh," and added, "It's fine, just a small matter. Don't take it to heart. Let's go, I'll take you home." I was a bit surprised at his lightheartedness. After arriving home, I was still quietly marveling at He Qingzhou's decisiveness in letting go. Then a notification sound rang out. It was a voice message from Zhou. "Teacher Tang, little uncle seems to be losing it. He bought a whole bunch of onions and locked himself in the kitchen to chop them. His eyes are red, clearly crying, but he says it's from the onions. Men are so hypocritical. I feel like Zhou is more mature than him." At the same time, He Qingzhou's message popped up. "Do you really not like me at all? Well, it's okay if you don't. Then can you start from now on, try to look at me? I still want to fight for it." Collapse. Between the lines, it reveals a man's awkward immaturity. Some past scenes about He Qingzhou resurfaced in my mind, like the time I was abandoned by Lu Yun at the club, and He Qingzhou happened to pass by for some reason. He gave me a cold-faced ride home. There were many such instances. By now, I've recovered from that state of being scared into a mental blank. Some emotions were gradually becoming clear. Holding my phone, I slowly typed on the keyboard. "It's not like I don't like you at all." I took a deep breath and clicked send. The other party replied instantly. "Account hacked." The already sparse romantic atmosphere suddenly dissipated. Describing He Qingzhou as a dog felt completely like a husky. His call followed right after. I answered. "What you just said, is it true?" He spoke quickly. I hummed gloomily. "Tang Jin, can you just say it out loud?" He dragged out his words like he was acting spoiled. It was easier to speak on the phone than face to face. I curled up on the sofa, hugging a pillow and hiding the lower half of my face in it. I whispered into the receiver, "Actually, I kind of like you too." After a few seconds of silence, He Qingzhou said, "Oh no, I won't be able to sleep tonight. I want to come find you. Can I come find you?" "No," I said very decisively. He Qingzhou calmly said, "Oh." After that, He Qingzhou was like a peacock displaying his feathers every day, strikingly handsome. After work, coming out of the institution, he handed me a bouquet of eustomas. Casually chatting. "Have you noticed? That Lu guy hasn't been bothering you lately." I was holding the flowers and turned my head to look at him. What did you do? He Qingzhou raised an eyebrow slightly. Reminded his mom that he should get married. Luyan now should. He did a quick mental calculation before saying, forced to go on a blind date with the 11th girl. That move was very He Qingzhou. Actually, after that night, he never brought up the topic of dating again. Nor did he pressure me to promise him anything. Instead, he warmly but gently infused his love into my daily life, as if silently saying, it's okay, you can take your time. I'm waiting for you to come out from under that shadow. But don't forget, I like you a little more every day. Lu Xingyan didn't stay long at the interest class. It started when he got into a fight with Zhou. He suddenly tore up her painting. And when she tried to salvage the painting, he bit her arm. Zhou burrowed into my arms, crying, her arm trembling with pain. I pursed my lips. Lu Xingyan, come over and apologize. I had never spoken to him in such a stern tone before. He stared at me blankly, tears welling up in his eyes, and started crying too. Mom. Xingyan didn't do anything wrong. She's a thief. She stole the painting of Mom, so Xingyan tore it up. Today's in-class drawing theme was my mom, Zhou explained between sobs. She had already forgotten what her mom looked like. I was the person closest to her who resembled a mother the most, so she, like Lu Xingyan, drew me. Lu Xingyan's hand hanging by his side clenched into a small fist. In a firm tone, you still can't draw her. Only I can. He still believed he was right. Zhou's wound needed immediate attention. I didn't argue with him about right or wrong anymore and carried Zhou toward the infirmary. Lu Xingyan probably had psychological trauma about me leaving. As soon as he saw me go, he panicked immediately and trotted after me, crying intermittently, Mom, I apologize. Don't be angry. Don't go, okay? He followed all the way to the infirmary, apologized to Zhou with tears all over his face, and clumsily rolled up his sleeves, holding it out to her. You can bite me back. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have torn your drawing. I'll never do it again. I'm sorry, Zhou. I sighed and led him to an empty classroom. He burst into loud sobs, saying nothing more, just calling out to me helplessly over and over. I patted his back gently. When he calmed down, he seemed to sense something and slowly stopped crying. His little hand held my index finger and he whispered, Xingyan being here seems to have bothered Mom. I wiped his tears and simply said, Xingyan, you really aren't suited to learning painting here. Our teacher-student relationship and mother-son relationship are both not pure enough. Getting along will only become more awkward. He nodded, still hiccuping from crying, but his tone was steady.
Xingyan understands.
Then, from now on, if I miss Mom, can I come see her? He hastily waved his hand and added, well, I won't come often. Just once a month, no, once every half year to see Mom. His eyes trembled, as if worried his request was too much. I finally nodded. Okay. He smiled, but still with sadness. Then, finally, Xingyan wants to hug Mom one more time. I pulled him into my arms. The boy lay on my shoulder, his voice soft, as if afraid to disturb this dream. Hope Mom's future child will be well-behaved, obedient, and most importantly, must love Mom very, very much. Spring is bursting with vitality. Saying goodbye in this season magnifies the agony of separation twofold. That day, Luyan came to pick up Lu Xingyan for the first time in a while. He had the driver take Lu Xingyan to the car before speaking. There's a serious crisis at the overseas branch. It's hard to resolve. I need to take Lu Xingyan and immigrate there. We won't be coming back for the next few years. His eyelashes drooped slightly, concealing all emotions. Tang Jin, I'm sorry for these past few years. I've transferred all my domestic properties. About 20 or so, all to your name. The lawyer will contact you in the next few days to sign the agreement. Consider it compensation. Don't refuse. I don't have high material desires, but having money at hand is always good. After Lu Yun left, He Qingzhou became even more sought after. Every day, he waited for me at the entrance of the institution after work, and basically everyone would ask for his contact information. That day was a very ordinary one. I got off work early. Zhou still had 20 minutes before class ended. He Qingzhou parked the car at the entrance as usual, looking down with a serious expression, tapping on his phone keyboard. Anyone would think he was handling some business. At the same time, my phone kept buzzing. I unlocked my phone and opened the message pop-up. The first one was a news link. The Liu family branch company's crisis is worsening. The situation is not optimistic. It might face bankruptcy. I'm not dragging them down, just stating facts, huh? That's how incapable people are. Image, sorry, my finger slipped and sent it. This is my ranking on the National Personal Asset List. Compared to last year, I've moved up 3 places. I think I deserve some praise. Suddenly, for no reason, I decided to start a relationship with him. Without much thought, I walked over to He. He was still focused on sending me messages. I tapped on his half-lowered car window and asked, "Can I be in a relationship with you?" The man didn't even look up, rejecting me smoothly. "Sorry, I already have someone I like." His voice abruptly stopped. He suddenly looked up, somewhat annoyed, his thin lips pressed together. "Tang Jin, don't joke about this." "I'm not joking." I looked at him seriously and slowly asked again, "Excuse me, can I be in a relationship with you?" He stared into my eyes. After a long moment, he finally believed me. He pushed open the car door, got out, leaned down to hug me. "I'm glad I waited," he added in a low voice, "when the day comes that you can truly see me with your own eyes." Jojo came out, and he couldn't wait to show off. "From now on, Teacher Tang will be your little aunt." Jojo looked at me with admiration and said, "Teacher Tang, you're really a philanthropist." He sneered. "Kid, you're asking for a beating." Jojo shrank into the corner. "Little uncle, you have so many flaws. Teacher Tang being with you is like doing charity." Gritted his teeth and said he'd find a place to pull over and punish her. Jojo threatened that if he dared to hit her, she would introduce me to their class's PE teacher. I rested my chin on my hand. I laughed as I watched them argue. At one moment, I turned my head to look out the window. The lush green scenery, accompanied by the hot wind, struck my senses. I suddenly realized that the biting late winter had passed a long time ago.